Hey folks, Pastor Daniel here. Our devotion is a little bit later this Wednesday. I apologize for that, but I am getting ready to record our Bible study for this evening to put it out there for the benefit of those who may not be with us. And I just wanted to come to you for a few minutes, give you a devotional time, give you certainly the invitation to come and be with us as we gather tonight at 6 p.m. for our prayer and Bible study time. Remember, we are developing our doctrine of God in our prayer and Bible studies these last few weeks here as we journey through the doctrines of the Bible, and you are more than welcome to come and be with us as we gather to worship God through our prayer and Bible study time this evening. And I'm going to jump right into our devotional time today, and it comes from the book of Psalm, chapter number 22, the 22nd Psalm. The psalmist is echoing what Jesus will say on the cross of Calvary. Psalm chapter 22, starting in verse number 1. My God, why hast thou forsaken me? Why art thou so far from helping me and from the words of my roaring? Now you remember Jesus said, my God, why hast thou forsaken me, when he hung on the cross of Calvary. During that time where Jesus Christ became the sins of the world, and God the Father could not look upon him because God cannot look upon sin. What a sad, sad picture we see there. But we know it was all for good, all for our salvation. Well, Christian, let me ask you this question. Have you ever echoed those words? When you have something going on in your life, some kind of difficulty, some kind of cross that perhaps you're nailed to, as it were, do you speak those words? David spoke those words. If I was to bet on it, I would guess that each and every one of us has had those words. Verse number 2, O my God, I cry in the daytime, but thou hearest not, and in the night season am not silent. Notice that right there. Have we ever said that? Have we ever alluded to that? God, I pray and I pray and I pray, but you don't speak. You don't answer. Have we ever said that? But then look at what David says in the following verses. Verse 3, But thou art holy, O thou that inhabitest the praises of Israel. Our fathers trusted in thee. They trusted, and thou didst deliver them. They cried unto thee and were delivered. They trusted in thee and were not confounded. You see what David is saying right there? As he does with a lot of his psalms, he opens it up wondering, where are you, Lord? But then he goes into the further verses affirming God's presence. Isn't that a wonderful thing that we can say, Christian? We might have those times where we wonder, how come God is so far away? How come God doesn't answer? How come God isn't listening to us, we might say. But Christian, here's what we need to do. When we have those times where we're tempted to say that, let's remember verses 3 through 5 here. But thou art holy, O thou that inhabitest the praises of Israel. Our fathers trusted in thee. They trusted, and thou didst deliver. And Christian, you and I both can point to a time when we have trusted in God, and hopefully that trust has not waned, but we've trusted in God and we've seen him deliver. Verse number 5, They cried unto thee and were delivered. They trusted in thee and were not confounded. So David begins this with a lamenting, but then he ends it with affirming. Christian, may that be our attitude as well when we find those times of lament that we'll come into. Let us always remember that even in those times we can affirm that God is holy, he's in charge, and he has delivered and will deliver. God bless you folks. Hope to see you tonight at 6 p.m. Love you, and I'll talk to you a little bit later.